We tend to think of hacking as this super technical, complex thing, right? But what if I told you the biggest security vulnerability out there isn't in the code, it's us? Today, we're diving into something called social engineering, the art of hacking people, not passwords. It's all about breaking trust, not encryption. So let's get right into it.
So let me just ask you this. What do you think is easier for a hacker to crack? A 2048-bit encryption key? I mean, we're talking about a digital lock so tough it would take our best computers literally centuries to break. Or a person, someone who can be tricked in, say, a 5-minute phone call. The answer to that question, well, that's really at the heart of everything we're talking about today.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Why bother spending 100 years trying to solve some insane mathematical problem when you can just manipulate the most vulnerable and honestly the most predictable part of any security system? And that's us. It's always the people. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to define what it actually means to hack a person. Then, we'll dive into the common tricks and the art of deception. After that, we'll look at a really fascinating historical defense against these exact kinds of tactics. And to wrap it all up, we'll talk about how you can build your very own human firewall.
It's a simple idea, but it's such a powerful shift in thinking. The real target isn't the technology, it's the person sitting right in front of it.
So at its core, this is all social engineering is. It has nothing to do with code. It's all about confidence tricks. It works by leveraging these deep psychological triggers that we all have. Our tendency to obey someone who seems like they're in charge, our fear of missing out, or even just our simple desire to be helpful. Attackers use these very human traits against us to get someone to click a link, give up a password, or open a door they absolutely positively should not.
So how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's take a look at the specific tactics attackers use. And I guarantee you've probably seen these yourself, maybe even in your inbox this morning. So this breaks down two of the most common attacks you'll see. Phishing goes straight for your emotions. It's all about creating panic or a sense of urgency. You've seen them. Your package delivery failed, or your account is being deleted. Click here now. They're designed to make you act without thinking. Now, pretexting is a little more subtle. It's all about creating a believable story, a pretext. An attacker might pretend to be from IT needing your login, or a colleague from finance asking for some sensitive data. And both of these are so dangerously effective because they don't exploit a software bug. They exploit our natural human responses.
But, okay, how do you defend against an attack that targets human nature itself? Well, for one of the most powerful examples, we actually have to look to the past, to a group whose defense was just as human as the attacks they were facing. And this is such a powerful idea. The best defense against a human-based attack isn't more technology. It's a stronger human defense. And this very concept was put to the ultimate test in one of history's most critical moments. We're talking about the Navajo code talkers during World War II. They used their complex, unwritten language as a battlefield code that was literally unbreakable. So the Japanese military, since they couldn't crack the language, they turned to social engineering. They'd get on the radio, sometimes pretending to be American officers, and they'd try to trick the code talkers into responding in English, just to gather a little bit of intelligence. But here's the incredible part. It never worked, not once. The code talkers had a strict, simple protocol. You never, ever break code or speak English on the line. Their discipline was absolute. And this is the perfect example of what we now call a cultural firewall. Their security wasn't a machine, it was a shared understanding and an unbreakable set of rules. They had a protocol, they all understood the context of the threats they faced, and they maintained incredible discipline, even under immense pressure. That human system was their greatest defense. So let's bring this powerful lesson into our world right now. How can we take the principles of the Navajo code talkers and use them to protect ourselves from all the modern phishing and pretexting attacks we face every single day? Here are 3 steps you can take to build your own personal firewall. First, enforce your own protocol. Just like the code talkers, you have to make it a non-negotiable rule to be skeptical of any unexpected request for info or action, no matter who it seems to be from. Your default settings should be trust but verify. Second, verify the context. An urgent email from your CEO asking you to wire money at 10 p.m.? That lacks context. Don't just reply. Pick up the phone and call a number you know is legit. Just changing the communication channel is often enough to break the attacker's script. And third, maintain discipline. This is all about recognizing when your emotions are being played. If an email makes you feel panicked, angry, or rushed, that feeling is a huge red flag. That's the attacker's thumb on the scale. You have to pause, take a breath, and think before you act. And that leaves us with a final thought. As technology like AI makes scams and deepfakes more convincing than ever, the attacks on our human nature are only going to get more sophisticated. In that future, are the principles of protocol, context, and discipline, that very human cultural firewall, going to be more important than ever? Is our intuition, when we actually train it and listen to it, still our single greatest defense?